Today's lesson is on All Your Love. It's an OTIS RUSH song, but the version I'm looking at is the John Mayall Bluesbreakers version with Clapton. That's probably the more well-known version, even though it was a cover. The OTIS RUSH one's brilliant as well, so if you haven't heard that, it's worth checking out. But yeah, I'm looking at the Clapton guitar part today. So it's in the key of A minor. It's a blues, and as you'd expect with John Mayall, and it's A minor, so there's a lot of pentatonic minor. There's nothing too complicated in it, but he's got a great sound on it, and it's just really perfectly played, as you'd imagine. So it starts off like this, with this weird little kind of thing he does at the start of most of the phrases, and it's just flattening first finger over 5th fret, first 2 strings, and you play those together and just slide up, and don't go to a particular fret, just relax your finger as it slides so that you hear the notes kind of just drop off. And it does it quite aggressively. And then straight into the first phrase, which is 3rd string, 7th fret, bend it to a 9, release back to the 7, pull off to the 5. Standard bluesy phrase. And then we play a 7 on the 4th string, and then there's a very faint kind of hammer on to a 7 on the 5th string that he does the first time. And then we've got the 3rd string, 5th fret, and you play that note, maybe slightly bend it, and then play a 7 on the 4th string. If you do bend that, that's not an actual proper bend, it was just more an effect, just a tiny little flick down. So you put that all together, it's lots of vibrato all the way through this, especially on those last notes of each phrase. So I'll play up to speed. And then nearly repeats it. The only difference on the second phrase is it doesn't do the faint hammer on that note. So it's, and that would be over the first 4 bars, which would be the A minor chord. When it changes to the D minor for the next 2 bars, he does a similar thing, starts the same with the slide, plays the bend, release, pull off, and then the A note here, the 7 on the 4th string. That's all the same. But then just goes to a 5th fret on the 3rd string, quick hammer on to a 7, which is a D, and we're on a D minor chord. So if you put the first 3 phrases together, it sounds like this. And then the next phrase is kind of the same as the second one again, without the little faint hammer on, but he phrases it slightly differently. It's very hard to pick out exactly how he does this, really. It's not exactly the same phrasing. If I'll just sort of play it, you'll see if you can hear what I mean. Something like that. It's just not quite as fast on the bend, release, pull off. Instead of being, it's just how it came out when he played it on that take. I shouldn't think it was that intentional. And then the next phrase, a similar one again. This is where we're going to the 5 chord, which is an E minor. And what he does here is start the same phrase again with the slide on the 2 5s, the bend, release, pull off, and the A here. Exactly the same. All of these phrases have started with that. But then he goes to an E note by bending this note, which is a D, 7th fret on the 3rd string, to sound like a 9, which is an E. So it's kind of obvious notes that he's going for here, just to hit the root notes of the chords. So that was. and then the chord would change from an E minor to a D minor on the way back to the A minor, just like a lot of blues would do in the key of A minor. So when it goes to that, what he does is he keeps that bend, so the sound of the E note, picks it twice more, lets the bend down part way so it sounds like an 8 rather than a 9, and then just plays the note as a 7, which is the D, and he times it so it follows the chord. So you've got this. And that's probably the part here that will take the most practice. So if I just play that whole phrase. And the last one, this 7 again, bend to 9, release to 7, pull off to 5, just like we've been doing. And it just plays a 7 on the 4th string, which is the A. And just at the end, just before the vocal comes in, he then plays the 2nd and 3rd strings, 5th fret, so a bit like we've been doing here, but on the next 2 strings, and slides down that way. And it's another slide where the notes kind of disappear as you're sliding. You don't hear them go down very far. Like that. That's all of the intro, that's the whole thing. So I'll just play it all in time but slowed down. That's all of it. So I hope that works out well. It's a nice solo to play, bit of a blues classic, and the Otis Rush version, the original, is very similar but with a cleaner sound. So yeah, it's worth checking that out if you don't already know that one. If you like this, please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will also look at the bridge section where it does a little mini solo, and then I'll do the main solo at some point as well. Okay, thanks.